All right, it's the Mike Delivers podcast, and I am so excited to have this guest on the line. I was scrolling through Instagram, looking at food pages, and this caught my attention. It's just another food review page on Instagram. Mark DePasquale, who does an incredible job with his New Jersey food reviews. They're fun, they're entertaining, they're interesting, and they grabbed my attention right away that I had to scroll through all of them, and then I had to get into my producer stalker mode and find him and DM him and talk to him and get him ultimately on this podcast. So first of all, I see the shirt that you're rocking for people that see this on video. Your tagline when you start your reviews, all right, we're here. Mark, thank you for coming on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Mike. I really appreciate you reaching out, and I look forward to talking to you today.
Yeah, absolutely. So
whatever else we want to talk about.
So first of all, obviously you have to be a huge food fan because
Absolutely.
to backtrack for the audience a little bit, you're doing reviews of restaurants in New Jersey.
Right.
You're going out to the spots, you're trying the food, and you're giving your reviews, and a lot of great local restaurants. So first and foremost, your love of food. How did that start? How did you get into all that?
You know what? Italian family.
Mm.
My dad was actually a chef. So that's why I am still living at home because I can't leave his cooking. But, we were always big into going out at least once a week to different restaurants. And the whole food review thing started because, we would go out with our friends. Say we go to a Mexican restaurant, pizzeria. We would always ask each other, like, oh, what would you grade this? What would you grade this? And ultimately, it was my brother's idea. He was like, why don't we just document it, start our own, Instagram page, do video reviews. And I was like, sure, why not? So we went down to AC, did our first review in March of 2019. And it's, kind of been taken off from there. As you said, we go through different restaurants throughout New Jersey. I'm personally from, North Jersey. So a lot of the restaurants, if you go to our page that you'll see, are from that area. Being, the whole COVID-19 thing that happened, we wanted to get down more to South Jersey for the summer. Hopefully that's still, in our plans for maybe August and September. If not, maybe we'll take a trip down there during winter if restaurants are still open. But it's been fun, I have to say. We really appreciate all the support we've received so far from our followers and as well as the restaurants that have been, sharing our videos after we review them.
Yeah, that's cool. And if you go to your page, you see you're getting a ton of views, a lot of views on all of your different food reviews. So, take me back now, because you said you started this in March. So we're looking at a year plus. Have you seen an evolution of it gaining traction and more people eyes coming onto the page? And what's that experience been like?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the biggest thing, from when we started the first, I would say 10 to 15 reviews, a lot of the people that were following us were friends, family, coworkers, people like that. But as we sort of evolved, we've gotten a lot of support from the food community in general.
Right.
And we have foodies from, New Jersey all the way to Texas. I think I posted someone on Saturday that we sent out a t-shirt to that she lives in Texas, and she was rocking the "All right, we're here" t-shirt. So just getting a lot of exposure through different areas. New York City, we have a lot of, New York City foodies that are following us, but it's just interesting to see their perspective and what they're posting as well. Because everyone, is posting different content. We do follow a few people that are doing video reviews as well. But it's so cool to see, because when we started this, it's like, you didn't know there were so many food accounts.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I do.
And then, you're posting content, you're using different hashtags and different people are following you. And it's like, wow, there's like so many accounts out here to follow. And it's just been great to engage with them. I comment on their posts, they comment on our posts. So it's really been a good connection in that sense.
And some of the restaurants you go to, they all look amazing. And I want to talk about the places you've been to. But one note I have is the enormous amount of food that you're getting to try different places. So obviously, I know you're eating the food. There's a cameraman there as well. I mean, because you're getting a good chunk of stuff. I remember you went to the
Yes.
Stuffed Grass Fed Burger, which is one of my
Yeah.
favorite spots. Dan, who owns it,
Yeah.
I've picked up from him a million times. He's a great guy,
Mhm.
and I know the food you got. I'm like, that's not a small portion. Like, you got to be ready to put some down. So how
Yeah.
has that been like? Because you got to try everything.
Oh,
But I know you, and I feel like I've known you for 5 minutes. But one thing I know is I'm sure you don't want to waste food. So
no.
what's that been like when you're getting all this amounts of food to try?
You know what? I did enter a few hot dog eating competitions a few years ago for
Okay.
work. Didn't do well at them. The most I did were 8 hot dogs. The
Harder than it looks.
competitions actually, it's much harder than it looks. And just side note, we did a review. I don't know if you saw it with Mickey Sudo,
Mm.
female hot dog eating champion. The amount of food that she ate. The day we actually went up there, they were eating. I mean, it was a pork roll. North Jersey, we say Taylor ham eating competition, and the amount of food we get,
Yeah.
we kind of split it up between, I would say, either 2 or 3 of us,
Okay.
and we just want to get not only their top selling items, but a wide variety of items. So when we do the review, it's not like, we're just reviewing, say, one
Right.
burger.
Sure.
We want to do, 3 or 4 burgers. So then when someone goes there, they're like, oh, wow, like I have different options to choose from. And, my big thing is always like, there's no leftovers. I
Yeah.
will eat until I'm like blue in the face. So,
Right.
the upcoming review that we actually did for this week was a pierogi place in Fairfield, New Jersey. And we actually got 24, 25, 32 pierogies. We got
wow.
kielbasa, stuffed cabbage, hunter stew, and we sat there for probably a good hour and just downed it all.
That's amazing.
I didn't eat after that. It was probably around 2 or 3 o'clock. I didn't eat dinner. I was that full.
Yeah.
We always plan to eat a lot on Saturdays when we do the review.
Yeah.
And, some stuff are much heavier than others, like, eating 4 burgers that are stuffed with cheese and macaroni and cheese.
Right.
Probably aren't the best idea. But it's all about, pacing yourself while you're trying everything out.
So there's so many great restaurants in the northern New Jersey area.
Absolutely.
How are you deciding where to go, what to try, and what's your execution to? All right, guys, team, this is where we're going this week.
Sure. So ultimately, it's based on our own research. So we try to do a wide variety of different cuisines, whether it's, pizzerias, Mexican food, Italian food, all the way from Indian food, Turkish food that we tried. So we'll do our own research in the area to see what restaurants are out there. We do base it off of rating in a way.
Mm-hmm.
We tried to go to restaurants that have received, good reviews. So, we could see for ourselves when we go there, we get these different menu items, review them ourselves. And a lot of the places we've been going to are from recommendations.
Okay.
So either people commenting on our videos like, say we went to one hot dog spot. They're like, you got to go to this hot dog spot.
Right.
We went to one pizzeria. You have to go to this pizzeria. And a lot of direct messages. So people message us and be like, you have to try, the roast beef and fresh mozzarella sandwich from, this deli. And we'll take a trip down there. And there was one deli that we went to down in Union City that we took. For us, it's about a half-hour drive. And I think I was mentioning this to you earlier. How we're doing the reviews now is we're actually going down, picking up the food. And since you can't eat in these restaurants, we're driving the food back home and then going back there the next day. So it's kind of a process and, taking our time. But since we're so committed to this, we drove half hour there, half hour back. And then the next day did the same thing. And the food was great. The sandwiches were awesome. You get the, classic chicken cutlet with fresh mozzarella and roasted peppers. You can't go wrong with that. They make their homemade roast beef. So that's how we're getting a lot of our spots. And there's spots that we've been to that are, say, 3 miles away that we never even heard of.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's so many restaurants just in our
Really is.
area alone, these
Hmm.
surrounding towns where I live. So when we go to, say, places of towns that I've never even been to, you
Yeah,
know,
right.
it's so interesting to see what restaurants and how their, food is,
That's got
which
to
is
be cool, and it may be humbling, exciting, and annoying at the same time. It's like you put out a video, and then boom, people like an idiot like
yeah,
me, for example. I'm DMing you. You got to go to Ralph's in
yeah,
Nutley, New
yeah.
Jersey, and
And
get the.
Ralph's is definitely on our list because we've received it's Ralph's, and I don't know if you heard of Bruno's in Clifton.
No, Bruno's, but I'm writing things down as we go along here.
Yeah,
Bruno's in Clifton. Okay.
yeah, so everyone's been telling us Bruno Sicilian pie, and we did the research. It
Mm,
was at a point ranked the number one Sicilian pizza in New Jersey,
okay.
so
Cool.
that has been on our list. So yeah, yeah. I mean, the recommendations have been great.
That's
I have to
awesome.
say, all the recommendations, and if you go back to probably the last 15 or 20 reviews, they've been all recommendations.
Mm,
And we try to go to the ones, say, the last restaurant got 3 or 4 recommendations. We'll do that one first, just to make our
right.
followers happy.
Has now everything you like, all the food I see, like it all looks amazing. And you watch it,
Yes.
you watch your videos. I'm like, okay, I got to go to that restaurant.
Yeah.
Has any of it like jumbled together in your head where you're trying so many sandwiches that might be similar and you're having like a
Yes.
hard time distinguishing? Like, okay, I gave this one a 9.1. I'm
Yeah.
trying this. Is this
Yeah.
better? This is really good, but I can't remember. Is it like how are you figuring all that out?
That is spot on. I mean, as I said, the few sandwich places that we've tried, we've went for the same style of sandwiches. So the chicken cutlet, and some chicken cutlets, you get the thick chicken cutlet or the thin
Hmm.
chicken cutlet. Some are breaded better than others. Some are made fresh mozzarella, some aren't fresh mozzarella. So you do determine the score based on those, different, qualities of the sandwich.
Sure.
But the biggest quality, I think that goes underrated, and I don't know if you want to speak, but the bread. The bread
Mm,
is huge. If
good
you have
point.
fresh bread
Yes.
with an Italian sandwich, it just makes the sandwich 100 times better.
Right.
But the one sandwich place that I would say stood out from the rest because it was just different
Yeah.
was Toast You in Montclair. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
That's just brand new.
Yeah, it's been open I think a little over a year maybe, or maybe under a year.
Yeah, that's okay. That's cool. Yeah, I live in Bloomfield, but the way the towns
Right.
work, they're so close to each other that I'm
Sure.
probably a mile and a half from that spot.
Right.
So I'm curious. So you were into
Yeah.
that one a lot.
Oh, if you look back, I think it was in January. We did the
Okay.
review. Actually, I think it was on MLK Day, and we went there. And the pastrami is probably the best pastrami you're going to eat.
Mm,
Like when I say melt in your mouth pastrami, it is melt in your mouth pastrami. Like no fat. Like I hate pastrami that has like that fat and it's
right.
chewy. This one was so tender, and they made it on Turkish flatbread
And that was the
and then
key.
pressed it on a panini with cheese, yellow American cheese, and then they stack it into four, and it's like this
Mm,
massive sandwich. And I'm telling you, best sandwich. I think we gave that score 9.5.
wow.
I have never had a better pastrami sandwich than that. I know a lot
Okay,
of
good to
people
know.
mention Katz Deli, but that's in the city. I've never been there, but for New Jersey, definitely the best pastrami sandwich that I've had.
I'll be annoying and make a recommendation on the spot. The Second Street Bakery in Jersey City
Okay.
has some of the best bread I've ever had for a sandwich. So I know that one's a little more of a pain in the ass to get to,
Right. Right.
but I'm gonna make sure to have that on your list. Yeah, the Second
Yeah.
Street Deli. Some of the
Second Street
bread
Deli.
there, or no, the Second Street Bakery. I apologize. The
Second
bread
Street
there
Bakery. Okay.
was just fantastic. Food that you had never had before
Right.
that you tried for doing this video, and you were surprised how much you liked it.
Turkish food.
Mm,
It was the first time I had Turkish food. It was similar to Greek food, which I've had in a sense. A lot of different meats, but it was interesting in the taste of the food and the spices that they used.
hmm.
As soon as we had it that night, I was like, I'm definitely coming back here.
Yeah.
And Polish food. It's funny because people are like, oh, you never had Polish food before, and the closest thing I had to Polish food were the Mrs. T frozen pierogies.
Right.
So never anything,
Right.
fresh homemade
Sure.
pierogies, kielbasa, homemade kielbasa, stuffed cabbage, stuff like that. We've now been to two, authentic Polish restaurants, and I love authentic
Mm.
Polish food.
Right. That's cool.
Pierogies are, so close to, we eat raviolis as Italians.
Right.
So the pierogies are very similar, but the place that, you'll see the review upcoming this week, they were stuffed with so many different, fillings.
Yeah.
From, the normal potato and cheddar, broccoli and cheddar, to they had buffalo chicken pierogies,
Oh, cool.
pulled pork pierogies, taco pierogies.
Wow.
But they're all made fresh daily. So they were so fresh, and the ingredients you could see were awesome. So
That's cool. Have you contacted, now that you're gaining a little steam and
Yep.
a lot of steam and following, have you contacted the restaurants when you're coming? Do you just show up when they what's the protocol now moving forward for places?
Right. A lot of people ask that. So we want to make the reviews as accurate as possible. So say if I go to the restaurant and you go to the restaurant the next day, you're getting the same service,
Right.
and you're getting the same quality of food. So
Right.
the only time we'll go to a restaurant if we had a conversation with the restaurant owner or whoever's operating their social media page
Mhm.
is if they direct message us. If they direct message us and are like, oh, come down here to do a review, we have this, this, and this, that's the only time we'll go down there and actually, they're expecting us.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to surprise, the restaurants, and, when we post the reviews, we'll just tag them.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to go somewhere and they're like, oh, you have to make this great. They're going to be doing a review on it, and then you go the next day and the burger's crap.
Sure.
So we want to, not notify them in a sense.
Right.
But,
That makes
as
sense.
I said, if they do, DM us and tell us to go down there, we'll probably make the trip and visit them.
You don't have to say if there is. You can opt out of this answer. Has there
Okay.
been anything you've tried? You don't have to mention names. Has there
Yeah.
been anything you tried and you're just like, oh, I don't know if that hit the mark?
I have to say, we've had first experience with Indian food.
Mm-hmm.
It might have just been the place, because when we posted that review, they were like, oh, that's not a good place. Like, I don't know why you went there. You got to go to this.
No.
So I am definitely open to trying Indian food again. I know there are restaurants out there that have high reviews, and I've talked to friends and, family that have been to restaurants. So we have other Indian restaurants on the list, but the one that we went to, I wasn't a big fan of. The tastes of the food were not sitting with me well, put it that
Gotcha.
way. And just the other ones that we've given lower reviews, I think were more in terms of the overall experience and the service.
Right.
There was one pizzeria that we went to. I'm not going to mention names, but they kept messing up on our order. And were arguing with us that we didn't say something that they thought we said. So instead of really just like, okay, like, sorry for the mistake, here's your pizza, they were kind of going back and forth with us. And that ultimately, messed up their score.
Yeah.
But I won't mention their name.
Yeah.
Kind of leave that anonymous. But the most recent reviews that we did, I have to say, all amazing food. So if you check out our page, I would say the last 20 to 25 reviews have all been fantastic restaurants. Service has been on point, and that's ultimately what goes into the overall score.
And now I've seen that you've had a bunch of local celebrities that have popped on with you as well. Al Dukes, Frank Fleming, who've actually been on the Mike Delivers podcast as well. How are you getting in touch with these guys, and what's that process like to get people to join you?
So it's funny, when we started the page, I have just been direct messaging people. Direct messaging them, being like, we're huge fans of your show. Do you want to, or, in terms of Frank, like,
sure,
the whole viral videos that we've saw him on, following him on Twitter and Instagram, huge fans of you. Would you like to, join us as a guest reviewer? We started this food review page. We go throughout New Jersey, eat at the restaurants, give your honest opinion on a score. And it's, it's been hit or miss, I have to say.
Sure.
A lot of these celebrities aren't checking their DMs, which
Yeah.
is normal.
Sure.
A lot of them, might just be ignoring them or deleting them because they get bombarded with direct messages.
Of course.
But, the ones that we have had as guest reviewers have been great. We've had a great time with them. It's very interesting seeing them out of their element. Like say, for example, Al Dukes, I've been listening to, the show for years now.
Yeah.
And having him there in person, talking about food was very, was a cool experience for me.
Right.
And, we have, celebrities on our list or even sports people on our list that we want to ultimately reach out to, retired Jets. Put it that way. I'm a huge Jets fan.
Yeah.
That we've been trying to reach out to that live in New Jersey, that we're like, we'll drive up to where you live to do the review. It has been unsuccessful, but we are persistent and, we'll try until we get someone else. But right now it's tough because the restaurants are closed
Right.
For indoor dining. So, coming in contact with people, I know it's, kind of a
Different.
situation.
Yeah, no, it's very different.
Once everything clears up, we'll ramp up on the outreach again. And hopefully, people just see our page and, follow us and, contact us. So.
Is there a dream player that you'd like to do it with? If you could pick one Jet, let's go. We'll do it. So I know you're a Nets fan, so I'm curious about that too. I'm a Nets fan. You can't find many of them. What's that?
Huge Nets fan, huge Jets fan, huge Rangers fan, and Yankees fan.
Okay, so
I'm a big sports guy. Off topic, but it's been killing me that I haven't been able to watch sports.
Tell me about it.
Because Yankees baseball, I am home pretty much every night in the summer watching Yankees games or, during the day games. And I am so happy that hopefully without, any more players coming down coronavirus that, July 23rd, Yankees Nationals. So pumped for that. Garrett Cole's first game in the pinstripes.
So which Jet would be your dream that would go out and join you for review? And also, maybe you don't know this answer off the top of your head, but if you found said Jet and he was willing to leave his town, which restaurant and Jet combo would you want it to be? If you can't answer the restaurant part, I understand. That's a lot right there.
Sure. I mean, current Jet or just Jet in general?
Jet in general, all time.
Jet,
your go-to.
Huge. I was always – I'm going to kind of stretch the rule. I'm going to give 3 because I have 3 all-time favorite Jets.
Okay.
Curtis Martin.
Yep.
Wayne Corbett.
Yep.
And Darrelle Revis.
Yeah, that's a good – all right.
Those are – growing up, I mean, I have all 3 of their jerseys. They were always my 3 favorite. When Revis left for the first time, I was heartbroken.
I understand how that works.
But the happiest person when he came back and,
That's
ultimately finished again as a Jet. He would always be a Jet, even though he won as a Patriot.
Yeah.
He would always be a Jet in my books. But those would be the 3. In terms of restaurants, I'm big in taking people out to, a sit-down restaurant. So it will probably be something in terms of, maybe an Italian restaurant or maybe, Mexican food's up their alley.
Yeah.
Those will probably be between the 2. Or, what I always say to the guest reviewers, do you have any recommendations for places? Smart. Because, if they have some place in their area that they were looking to try and never have been to, I'm pretty much open to trying anything.
Right.
There's nothing that someone had recommended. I'm like, oh, no, I can't do that. So whatever they would recommend to me, I would be all for and would be more than happy to do a review alongside, one of them.
And then I might be the only person that cares when I ask this question, but you know what? I don't even care right now. Which New Jersey Net would you pick to go for a food review with?
It was funny because I had reached out to Kerry Kittles.
Nice.
And Kerry Kittles got back to me, and we were talking, but he was telling me that he wasn't the one for a food review. He didn't have the personality.
That sounds right.
Yes, yeah, but Kerry Kittles was huge. I was a huge fan of Kerry Kittles, RJ, Richard Jefferson.
Yeah, he'd be great.
the two jerseys I have up in my room, Jason Kidd,
Yeah.
all time, and Vince Carter.
Yeah. Yeah. I think RJ would be the guy. He's like a media mogul now all over the
Yep,
place.
absolutely.
He'd be a lot of fun. Now, it's cool when you meet, I'll sidetrack for a bit, but it's nice when you meet Net fans because I had season tickets to the Nets growing up. I was a senior in high school when they went to the NBA Finals the first year with Jay Kidd. So, all the crap years before that, it was like a mind blow when all of a sudden your team goes from 26 wins to the NBA Finals.
Exactly.
Which was awesome to see. It's fun. It's just fun hearing all of these restaurants as somebody that lives in the area, seeing you go to all these different pages. And something you do, which should not go unnoticed, is there's a lot of post-production put into these to edit them,
Absolutely.
to get them down. I know they're all under a minute, which I think is really smart because of just people's attention spans. And then on Instagram, it starts going to a different kind of viewing, which makes for less people to go to it. And you insert movie clips, different clips from TV shows. Are you editing that, and what's that like putting it all together once it's done and just really scaling down? I'm sure a lot more content than what we're seeing.
Yep, absolutely. So as I said, the whole filming thing, I've gotten so much support from family. My dad's been helping out with filming. My brother's been helping out with filming. In the past, I've had friends help out with filming, but the whole editing process, I do enjoy doing that. I actually do it for my for my personal job on the side.
Oh, okay,
I do
cool.
video editing. So, and that is, I just drop it in iMovie. So it's not really extreme editing, but I do enjoy, cutting the clips, matching it up with the audio over the food clips, and then, just finding those similarity, as you said, like movie clips or TV shows that go along and bring a little bit of humor to the videos.
Right, exactly.
So the editing process, ultimately takes, I would say, about half hour to 45 minutes, depending on how many takes we've done or how long the original files are. But it's really fun to see it all come together from the initial process of us going to pick up the food, taking the video of all the the different dishes, to actually going back, filming the review, and then, editing all together, posting it on our page, and hopefully people liking it, sharing it, and commenting on our videos.
Yeah, it's really cool, and it's great to see the growth and hear about the growth. And you were referencing when you started this, it was in normal times. Just go to the restaurant, do your thing. How difficult has it been with COVID-19? And you touched on this a little bit before, but go in more detail.
Sure.
How difficult has it been with COVID-19 to continue this project and continue this awesome page when there was a point where it was really tough to find restaurants because places just weren't open?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So as you said, when we first started this, it was like, I would leave work, text everyone in our group chat and be like, we're going here tonight to this restaurant.
Right.
We would all meet at my house, drive over there, go inside the restaurant. As they brought out the food, we would record it and actually do the full-on review right after we were done eating. Where once, what was it, middle of March, COVID-19 struck, and we pretty much changed the process where now the day we were doing the reviews were on Saturdays. So we would go to the, whatever restaurant we would have planned for that week. We would order the food either over the phone or do the curbside pickup. And the good thing is a lot of these restaurants were great with changing with the times. So say, someone, a restaurant was doing curbside, or, they were only accepting credit card, and, we had to, we couldn't go into the restaurant. They were great at, with their service. And ultimately the process changed for us because I think I mentioned this earlier, but if there was a restaurant that was on our list that was, say, like half hour away,
right,
and we were like, we want to try this restaurant so bad, we don't want to wait any longer.
Yeah.
We just had to do it. So we would, drive down there on a early Saturday afternoon, pick up the food. And there was a few instances. I would say if you look at one review, it was in Hoboken. It was a cheesesteak place called Piccolo's, I think it was called.
Okay.
We had the car in the middle of the street filming the review with our hazards on because there was no parking. You know, Hoboken,
Tough.
the parking situation is terrible.
Yeah, it's tough.
So we had the car parked in the middle of the road, hazards on, and we actually were yelled at earlier because we took someone's spot.
Oh, it's
I guess
great.
it was someone's spot. So ladies coming out of our car while we're eating the sandwiches in the car, and she's yelling at us, tapping on the window to get out of her spot.
Great.
So that was a very interesting. That was at the start of this all. I would say it was the end of March, but
Yeah.
it's definitely been interesting. I mean, it is getting better. You know, restaurants are opening up for outdoor dining. We haven't done the outdoor dining yet. We're still doing the same process where we're taking, the food home and going back to film the reviews. But it's just been interesting. It's a very interesting time. And, while all this was going on, we were trying to support as many local businesses as possible. Right. We were going to the places to do the reviews, but we were also sharing a lot of restaurants' accounts on our story, just giving them a shout out, like support these businesses.
Yeah.
Because I know what a tough time it is, to either be closed for, multiple weeks.
Right.
Or not getting as much business as you are because you only had, indoor dining. You can't do the outdoor dining thing. So we're still trying to support as many businesses as we can during the tough times, but hopefully, as the year progresses, I can't believe we're already in July.
I know.
But, things will start slowly getting back to normal, and we could go back to our original plan of, eating inside of the restaurants and filming as soon as we're finished.
So a big point of emphasis on the Mike Delivers podcast, when I'll bring in some of the foods that my wife and I will try, is we don't reheat the food. That's part of the deal. And that's part of the gimmick is I want this, like part of our review system is the heat factor. How did it last in its drive from the Uber Eats car to our house? And that impacts food. I mean, if you have a huge impact. Yeah. So because you're going from the restaurant back to your house, are you reheating said items? Are you leaving it as be? What's your process now in these times with that?
So one of the more recent reviews we did was the pasta shop. And with pasta, like if you're not eating pasta as soon as it's
a different world. That place looked incredible, by the way.
Oh, so if you saw that review was actually out of my trunk of the car. We did the pickup, popped open the trunk of the car, laid everything out, tried it right, ate it right there. And a lot of the places that the food has to be eaten on the spot to give it an honest review. That's what we do.
Yeah.
We went to Hot Grill. It was a nice day. Opened the trunk at Hot Grill, laid out the dogs and burgers, ate it right out of the trunk. The big thing is if the place has a parking lot, it's a huge factor because that's when we can do that. But if, we're pulled on a busy, street where cars are passing by, we can't pop open our trunk and just start casually eating out of our trunk.
Yeah, no, the variables make a difference. It's huge. Even like as an Uber Eats driver, like the same excitement level comes when I know I can go to a restaurant with a parking lot as opposed to somewhere where I'm searching for parking, double parked, putting on my flashers, running in, the food's not ready. Like I'm now giving you my side of the stress level, but I know it. Like when that parking lot's there, it's great. You've been tremendous with your time. I really appreciate that. Just a couple more. Best thing you ate so far in this experience.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Best thing you ate.
Best thing. Oof. Well, I'm going to go back to that pastrami sandwich from Toast You. Number one, 9.5. Steve's Burgers in Garfield was also ranked fairly high. They have a Steve's Burger, which is phenomenal. The burger itself is so tender and juicy, but they then pile it on with bacon. They have like this special Steve sauce that they put on it.
Nice.
And it's just your classic American burger. Like it's not too fancy. Mm-hmm. They serve it on a plastic dish. There's nothing fancy about it. It's a tiny little place. We've also had ribs from a place in Wyckoff called The Barn, where their ribs were phenomenal. I can eat probably 3 or 4 racks of those ribs and just walk out of that restaurant being happy. We also had a burger that night, but the ribs alone were fantastic. And there's just so many, places that stood out. I mean, pizzerias that we went to.
Yeah.
As I said, trying the Turkish food for the first time, really was blowing away my expectations. Jack's Seafood that we just did, the last review, it's fresh, the top of mind. I mean, how fresh is seafood? Summer, you can't go without having at least one lobster roll. But their lobster mac and cheese.
Yeah. I've seen that. I've seen that lobster mac and cheese a lot. Not as a customer, but as a food delivery driver. I can't tell you how many times I've ordered the mac and cheese, or not ordered. I've picked up the mac and cheese for people and taken it like 25, 30 minutes away to somebody. I'm like going all the way out of town, because that's a big pickup on the Mike Delivers pod.
Yeah. And what I've been craving was more recent, because this all goes back to the whole pickup and a steak. Big food that you have to have as soon as it comes out. Yeah. Earlier this year, we went to Steve's Sizzling Steaks.
Yes. It was good. It looked great.
Very good. I mean, literally, as the name says, they bring that thing out. It's sizzling hot.
Yeah, it looked fun.
They serve it with mushrooms and a special sauce. But the special sauce that they have on the side, it's either you like, and the waitress told us this, you either like it or you don't like it. There's no in between.
Okay.
It's a very unique tasting. To tell you the truth, I can't even tell you what it tastes like because you have to try it for yourself.
All right.
It's sweet. Funny. It's tangy. It's sour. It's all these different things combined into one.
Right.
And we also had a very good steak at Segovia.
Okay.
Segovia is in Munaki, I believe.
Okay.
Very good steak.
Cool.
It's more of like, Portuguese type restaurant.
Fun.
So, you have your paella and stuff like that, but phenomenal steak from there.
Awesome.
And I am just craving steak right now.
I know. You can't. Yeah, the problem is when you get that taken out, it's just,
forget it.
I personally, I like
5 minutes away.
I like steak medium rare, and I want it like done properly. And then when it, now I'm getting all like angry and stressed out about it. Just another food review page on Instagram. Yes. 2 last questions. I asked this to everybody. Well, now it's 3 questions I asked everybody that comes on the podcast. Sure. First one, and this doesn't have to just include the restaurants you've been to. This is total. Best thing you ate in the last 7 days from right now.
7 days from wow. I'm gonna say the pierogies. That'll be the upcoming review for this week.
Good plug. Smart move.
And you know what? Those. How many pierogies I threw, I can't even tell you. It was probably like 20 pierogies and all different assorted ones. It wasn't just like potato and cheese. It was a variety of different pierogies, but definitely that was probably the best thing I've eaten.
Do you prefer, and this is my wife's question because she's very passionate about this topic, cake or pie? Pie.
Yes.
She would not be happy.
No, pumpkin pie. You can't, I don't know why the first thing that came to my head was pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving.
There's no right or wrong answer. She's just a lunatic with this question. And then finally, it's a year from now. Life's back to normal, and you're sending out your wedding invitations. Do you invite me to your wedding? Just give me your honest answer.
Absolutely. I feel like we've known each other now for like 5 years.
All right.
Become best friends in the matter of what? How long? 45 minutes?
45 minutes, yeah. Cool.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
On the list.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it.
We'll do a review right at the wedding.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I love it. We'll do it. That sounds good. I'd love to do a review with you. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna kind of like give you the wink there. I'm into it.
Anytime, we'll definitely talk after this and set something up. I'll be more than happy to have you at one of the reviews. If there's a place that you've had on your mind to try, as I said earlier, I am down to try anything. So we'll definitely set that up.
Well, keep up the great work. Again, follow Mark on Instagram. Just another food review page. All right, we're here. It's his signature line. Thank you so much, Mark, for hopping on the Mike Delivers podcast. I enjoyed it.
I appreciate you having me, and have a great day, and we'll be in touch.
Sweet. All right, Mark. Thanks, man.
Yeah, that was awesome.